And now I'm going to put some trees in. So I'm going to start, I believe in naming your trees. I'm starting with a 3-inch brush, a number 6 fan brush. And I'm going, but first I have to mix my colors together. So we want a dark color. This is the palette that I use. It works well for me. So I am using Mountain Mix, Van Dyke Brown, some a little alizarin crimson, and some sap green. And I'm mixing these colors together, adding a little Prussian blue into it. And this is going to be my background color for my trees. Now maybe I can get this started. What do you think, huh? I can hear all my grandchildren laughing about right now. So somebody's waving at me. And I can't see who anybody is right now. Alice Carroll, thank you. So I see these people that do all of that, and I don't know enough about it. So y'all will have to bear with me that I appreciate each and every one that is watching. I'm starting with the number 6 fan brush. I have filled it with this dark mix. And now, I believe in naming the trees that you're putting in. The first tree that I'm going to put in is Will. And so I am starting about right here, and I'm coming down. Now my brush is filled with dark paint. So I'm going to put, this is going to be an evergreen. And so now as I come down, I'm mashing a little bit harder and a little bit harder. And notice that his limbs are going downward. When you're painting evergreens, trees have a tendency to grow their limbs in 3 different ways. Either straight up, so to speak, straight out, or down. And Will's are going down. Now I'm going to put another one right here beside him. And her name is Danielle. So we're going to put right over here. Now Danielle is just a little bit shorter than Will is. So see how this is going right here? And now we're going to start same kind of tree. So we're just going to push down and push harder. And we go back and forth. Now, Danielle has the type personality that she might just step right here in front of Will. And she did, just the way she is. Love her to death. Now, we need another tree here. So we're going to do a different type tree. And in doing that, we need a 1-inch brush. So we have the 1-inch, I apologize, I don't have an assistant. So I have to find things myself. This is a 1-inch brush. And as you can see, I have paint all in my hands. I don't know if y'all are aware of the price of paper towels right now, but they will make you go back to from whence you came. Mr. Jim Cyphers taught me to paint, and he always had a cloth that he had torn an old t-shirt or a towel, and that's what he used to wipe with. And if you can find paper towels, you're doing good. Most of the time you cannot, but they have increased in price just a little. Well, a lot actually. Okay, so now we are going with the 1-inch brush, and this tree is Taylor. So we're going to put her over here, and we're just barely touching, and she's kind of going, not all of her will not be in the painting, just part of it. So we're going to mash a little here and a little there. And if you notice, when you're on the camera, things don't always work just right for you. Or so I have learned in the last few days. So right now, I am going to put more paint in this brush. I'm sure you can see it there. And what you do is if you swiggle like this in your paint and you actually pull down, then you'll get a sharper point. That's a chisel edge that you'll get out of that. And so that's what we need right here for this tree. And so as we come down, you can see we're getting thicker. Now we'll turn over this brush. And I actually have videos, and also I have some packets where I teach to paint these kind of things. If you would like to paint along with me, my information is on my site. and on my Facebook site, and you can actually get that and let me know, and I'll tell you what paints you need for the next painting that you'll be doing. Now, if you notice, here we have 3 trees. I like odd numbers. That's just me. Some people are okay with even numbers, not so much me. So over on this side, I'm going to paint another tree. And you know, when you're on television, you never do, or video, you never do exactly like you're supposed to. I need some trees that are in the background here, which should have been put on before this. But this is tips and tricks and techniques. So I'm showing you how, if you don't do something right, how you can correct it. And this is one of those times that this will work out well. Okay, so I am doing this in the background. And this is my background trees. I'm going to get a fan brush for that. And this is when you wish you had all of your grandchildren here to help you, girls. But that's all right. Now, see, I have a fan brush, so I am pushing and I'm putting this in. And see, this is my tree line back here. See how good that's going to look? Now, when you do a painting, when you paint, you want to make sure that your eye flows into your painting and does not drop off. You don't want it to drop off this side. See, these trees are going to stop it from dropping off over there. Now here, this is going back up to those mountains, and you want that to get smaller and smaller. And about this time, you also want to make reflections in your water, because this is going to be water, so this is all what it's about. Now, in this, you actually want to, let's put us a couple of little trees back in here. Maybe we'll put a tree right here that's a little more predominant than the other trees are back there. And then we'll put a little smaller one right here, just so that we are seeing that these should be pine trees back here, or evergreens, as the case may be. Now, we also want this to come down. So we're doing this down in the water so that the reflection will be down in here. And this one also. Now these are way back in the, way away from us, so the details are not as perfect as you would want them to be. So we're going to put another one like right in here that's tiny back here. And there we have it. Okay, so now we're going to leave that alone for right now. And we're going to put a larger tree over here. And let's see, who do we want this one to be? Why don't we make this a hunter tree? So we are starting up here above your mountains, and we're bringing her down like this. And now we're going to start the same way. Now, one thing with your painting going on like this, you realize that some of your branches will be behind your tree. Others will be in front of them. Some will be coming out from the side. And I'll be teaching you that in later videos that we will be doing together, I hope. Thank you all. I'm getting so many people that say you're watching. I really appreciate this. Thank you again. And I don't have anybody here to tell me who you are, but I will be looking at it later and telling you how much I appreciate this. So here we go down. Now this is Bob Ross, Wet on Wet. It's also a number of other artists that you will see on public television. Bill Alexandra or William Alexandra, whichever you want to call him. Wilson Bigford, and I could go on. But right now, we are finishing up Hunter. So there we go. Now, if you notice already when you're looking into this, you will see that your eye gets here and it starts to flow in that direction. So you will not be dropping off your canvas, which is very important. Now, since I have, I teach classes, I have more brushes than most people do. Probably not as many as Bob Ross had, but anyway, I've set it aside. And now what we will do is fix us a highlight for these trees. Now, a clean palette knife would be really good. I'm picking up some magic white, if you can see this, right? And this thins down the paint. Thin paint goes over thick. Always remember that. That's a very important rule. Now what I'm doing here is I am picking up this cadmium yellow. I am mixing it with the magic white. Now one thing you always want to remember is how to mix your paint. If you can see this, what I'm doing is lifting up the paint like this, turning it over. Now I'm getting a little red in here. I'm okay with that. That's pretty. So I'm lifting it up and turning it over. I want this paint to be thin, but I also want it to fill my brush. And with that, it's going to make a really pretty color. So now I'm looking for another fan brush. And I think I'm going to use a number 3 this time, which is what this is. So I'm filling it. And now let me tell you one thing you certainly want to do is you want to make sure that when you're doing this, that you leave your dark areas, right? Okay, so as you remember, I'm sure, was that when we started this was Will, this is Danielle, and this is Taylor. Well, Will is further back than the others are. So we're going to highlight Will a little bit here and a little there. And as we go down, we're going to highlight Will. You can turn your brush. And now look, sometimes he's got a limb coming in front. Doesn't that look like a limb just stuck out in front of him right there? Pretty, isn't it? So now we're coming down like this. And here's one off the side there, and we're going to put this one over in this area. But see how we're giving him dimension here? Pretty tree, Will. Now, as we come down, I'm going to put a little more white, titanium white in this, because he's looking a little bright right now. Or maybe I'll put some in Danielle. Now look, I have... This is a perfect example of how I do things so that I can teach you. If you'll notice, when I came down here, I kind of encroached, or I'm not sure what the right word is, over onto Danielle. So what I'm doing is pulling some of that back because we need that dark color in there. And so this brush that I had with that paint in it, I laid it aside. So now I'm going to put that dark color from Will back in here, see? Because we definitely do not want him to shadow over Danielle. It takes dark to have light. So you want to make sure that you have that dark color so that it, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the correct word that I'm thinking or wanting at this moment. And at any rate, here we go. Here we go. This is Danielle, so we're touching here. And I turned around and I saw the name of a very good friend of mine. I'm so happy to see her. Thank you, Dolores. You know, you have a lot of friends in life, but every once in a while, they're those really special friends. And Dolores is one of them. So thank you for watching me. And please like and share, y'all. I'm not just putting that on her, by the way. Can you imagine how many people I would reach tonight if everybody watching this that I've seen with their names come up would like this and share it on Facebook? I am too excited to even be able to respond to that. Thank y'all so much. Now we got just a little bit lighter, brighter color on Danielle coming down through here. It's not a lot of difference. In fact, you may not even be able to see it on your phone or whatever you're watching me on. But I can tell you that it's here, just a tiny bit lighter. And now for Taylor, I'm going to add some more white into this. Sorry, I don't have anybody to mix my paint here. Okay, so now we're starting right up here. And then this is Taylor. And she's yet a little bit lighter. And as you see, it's so easy to do this, but you always have to make sure that you have dark. If you don't have the dark, the light will not show. So see, again, can't tell I'm nervous, can you? All right, so I put the dark back into Danielle so that we can actually show how Taylor is kind of taking over because she's the closest one. Of course, you know, Taylor, she'd never do that, right? I contacted all my grandchildren and I asked them if I could name my first trees after them. And they agreed to it. So just remember that, girls. And their husbands did. Isn't that the sweetest thing ever? When you start, you know, dealing with the in-laws and they start agreeing with you, that's really good. You've done something right. And now, Taylor may be showing up a little better. I can't tell her highlights. I hope so. Okay, and now I'm going to put some more of this yellow back in because right in here, I'm going to bring Danielle, like she's kind of really close to her, and bring a little bit more back in there. I hope this is looking good on canvas. Now over here we have Hunter. And Hunter is even closer than the other three are. So, and we might want to put just a tiny bit of highlight on these back here. Not much, because we don't want them to stand out too much. We just want to know they're back there. And see, my light's coming in here. Okay, and here we go with Hunter. Very stately, huh? Now please, I hope you give me good comments on this. We will now take a little bit of time to get a 1-inch clean brush here. And what I'm going to do is pull this down into the water. This is my reflection, see? And that's about all we're going to do with this today. Back in here, we're pulling the reflections down. I'm pushing up and pulling down into the water, see?